Getting a burp.
Oh, all right. Getting a beer. Can get in the beer.
Frank got a poop.
My wife drank all my beer.
Oh, just kidding. Ken's not got a beer. It's 3 o'clock, dude.
Well,
I guess it's 5 o'clock in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, so
Yeah.
it's all good.
No, I mean like, this is my like relax catch up on like existing.
Okay.
You know.
All right. Well, welcome back to the DSoG vlog, or I guess we can call this a DSoG live stream now. DSoG vlog, DSoG live stream, same thing. It always comes out as a video. We just happen to be live streaming it at the same time. But yeah, I think this is number 13. That is at least what I titled the stream. Pretty sure this is 13.
I think so.
Yes.
We did one before week 1.
Yeah.
Every week. That's 10.
It's 10.
And 2 for the first 2 weeks of the finals. That's 12.
13.
Is the week of the finals 13? There we go. Lucky
I remember
number
a couple
13.
weeks ago I said the wrong number, so I'm just making sure I'm on the right page.
It's all right.
All right. Well, this is DSoG live stream number 3, but video vlog number 13. And the North American LCS finals was just completed on Sunday. Today's Wednesday. Carl and Ken were actually there. You guys took a bunch of pictures. Actually, I meant to say this earlier, but you guys should put those pictures post those pictures on Twitter, like on the DSoG Twitter.
Oh, yeah, we should do that.
I think that's a really good idea. But they took pictures with pretty much actually, you know what? I'm just going to throw it to you guys. Tell us about it. Because it looked like a lot of fun. So
it was so much fun. We took a picture. We met. Obviously, they have meet and greets for the teams. We met Team Liquid. After like 30 minutes of standing in line to meet Team Liquid, we decided we weren't going to wait what had become a 2-hour wait to meet 100 Thieves. Apparently, Carl said this. People were waiting 2 or 3 hours to meet 100 Thieves and Team Liquid. Like,
yeah,
that is
insane.
Incredible.
Double Lift posted that on Twitter. He was like, I can't believe people were waiting 3 hours to meet up with us. Yeah. And I was like, bruh, you're fucking amazing.
What's amazing to me is that like it's a small venue too. So like, you had people still waiting that long. You know, if this was any other venue of any other larger size, it would be even longer. You know,
it's crazy. And kind of the highlight of that when we were meeting them. First off, Team Liquid's a lot taller than I thought they were. Like, except Impact, but like they're all like.
Impact is a small man. He looks like a small little person.
He is a lot of talent packed into a small package. Anyway, when we were in line, all the Double Lift fanboys were like freaking out about meeting Double Lift.
Yep.
And right before we got there,
I was internally.
one dude finishes and then he like goes off to the side and he like, oh my god, I touched Double Lift, and like he ran away. It was hilarious. He was kind of joking about it, like trying to be like,
but he really
like you knew he was actually like you
is that fanboy or is that just straight fangirling? I think
no, dude. It's like Double Lift makes fanboys fangirly, but like you have to call him
just like
because he doesn't have fangirls. He only has fanboys. The girls that are fangirls of his they're just regular fans, and Bonnie.
and Bonnie. I
mean, like
she's a step above.
Yeah.
But talk about the actually being in the arena. Like how was just like the feeling of seeing all of this stuff happening? I know it's like we're all watching it live, you know, theoretically.
It's different.
Like technically we're all watching it live, but what is it like being in a crowd, watching the actual players on the stage?
I'll say something personally. It was incredible for the simple fact that like it just felt so much more hype. Like there's such a big difference between when you're watching at home, you know, by yourself and a couple of friends, and like this hype play happens, and you still kind of go like, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. But when you're in that crowd and like everybody erupts and like you like get up off of your seat. Like when Smithy stole that Baron, everybody was just like, oh my god, like
the whole.
So it was like
I think the entire crowd literally jumped.
Yes,
like everybody was sitting down, kind of like excited because it was an exciting portion of the map. Portion of the match. 100 Thieves just want to fight, and there was the tension that usually comes with the Baron. It's probably going 100 Thieves away. Maybe Smithy's gonna steal it, but then when he actually did, I mean, everybody just jumped, and an electric feeling just like pulsed through the crowd. It's really indescribable, the difference between watching at home and being at a live event.
Yeah. So can you compare it? I mean, I'm sure you guys have been to professional sports games. I went to like a Saints game when I was like 8 years old or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, they beat the Colts when Peyton Manning was the quarterback. It was a big deal. That was actually a super crazy game.
That's a really big deal.
Would you compare it or put it on equivalent of like watching a professional sports game and being in the crowd and like all of that kind of excitement and feeling? Or is it?
It's better.
Oh.
So the reason why, and maybe this is less so in a more action-packed game of esports, not so much League, which is there's so much downtime in League, right? Like
League is just like rising and falling,
Right. So like
3 moments of action and then like reprieve,
Right. So like you're watching the game and there's just farming until like the big explosive moment of the fight happens. In sports, there's a lot more constant like energy that happens. And so that tension that builds up, that becomes this explosion of I guess excitement and emotion, isn't emulated in a lot of sports. I mean, sometimes with football, interceptions, good example. Big interception that can turn the game around, or a fumble that turns the game around. That's a great comparison, but I still feel like,
I mean, that Baron steal to me felt like when I was watched, like like a basketball analogy, like when I was watching like Tracy McGrady as a Magic fan, and when he would hit like a game-winning 3, and like the stadium and Amway Center was packed. That's what it felt like. Just that amount of energy and that amount of just like, holy fuck, they just won the game.
It was. That's a good way to put it. Is that every major turn in a game feels that way though. Like every single event feels like.
That's what made.
Oh my god!
Feel like more. I guess like better.
I also think
it's just. I don't know. It was just incredible.
I also think it may have something to do with like the people that are going to attend like a professional League of Legends thing.
Yeah,
they're going to be hardcore fans.
So that's another good point. Is that like
don't have anyone that's like
maybe when
I just got invited by my girlfriend or something, and I happen to be here. It's like these people know what's going on.
Right,
hardcore.
Like I know for like in New Orleans, like you can just take a date to a Pelicans game. Like even if your date isn't into basketball, like it's just kind of like, oh, it's
still like a good date thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh wow, this is kind of a more pricey kind of date. You're going to a sports game, but maybe you're not super invested. The people that were there were all invested, and I think that's just because we're at the kind of the beginning of esports taking over as an entertainment option.
And we met people who like we were from Mississippi, right? It was in Miami, but we met people from Michigan, Texas. I think didn't we meet someone from like New York or something, or like somewhere in the Northeast?
Yeah.
And so like there were people from all over the nation.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool.
So-
I think from Wisconsin also.
Yes.
Is there anything that like you guys don't think that we like get to see on the stream that is involved in the live event?
So
Oh yeah.
I went back and watched some of the more hype plays just to see like the comparison of how I remembered the crowd was in comparison to what it sounds like on stream. And the crowd is so much louder than what you get on stream. Like there's so much more energy in that room than you think.
Yeah.
Also, you don't really hear the chants.
Yeah.
On stream, and like there was at one point where it was like they would be like let's go liquid and then 100 thieves.
Yeah, it was literally
I actually did hear that.
Okay,
I did hear that.
But that happened like 3 or 4 times in that series.
Yeah.
But like you don't get a lot of the production value that comes from like watching them do it. So like the LCS pigeon, right? I think on stream you guys got like maybe 2 minutes of LCS pigeon, but like the LCS pigeon was there for like 15, 20 minutes. And like we were like the entire crowd was
actually don't. I may not have been watching, but I don't remember.
Right. And that's another thing is that it started before the
countdown
started. So like these are things that like you have to be like you have to like want to watch a blank screen and like music just to maybe get involved in what's happening. And you know, kudos to Riot for giving the crowd a little something extra, but like I hope that at other esports events they don't have the pre-show option for people to engage with.
And also,
I hope they always have that because the crowd loved it. The crowd ate it up.
I did.
Yeah, I mean, it was really great. Also, you never know who you're going to see. So one of my friends from high school who still lives in Louisiana, we used to play a lot of RuneScape together back in the day. And actually, now we're playing RuneScape together again. Shout out to Brett Storms. I hope he watches this because I haven't asked him to subscribe or watch or anything, but I'm sure he will. Anyway, you know, just showing up. This is the very first thing that happened to us when we showed up at the Fillmore. He yells, "Hey, Ken!" And Orms like, "What is this?" And you know, just that kind of like connection that can happen between two people that either don't know each other or already do. It's impressive. I mean, there were this couple that they had a pair of IMT jerseys on, and I had my Pro Belter jersey on, and they're like, "Hey, man, that's really cool." And we were just like in Miami, just like at a gift shop, and I don't know, we talked to them for like 15, 20 minutes. There's just a certain amount of community that you can't get on stream, like the physical community that doesn't exist on stream.
Yeah,
Twitch chat is not like a community, like actual community.
Yeah, and also another thing, like we just randomly saw Steve a couple times. Like on the first day, we just saw Steve before the game started, and like Ken got to talk to him, and like we got to see Nade shot on the streets of Miami before the game started. On the
it kind of like reminds you, just like, oh, these are just like normal.
Yeah, they're just people. I mean, like this is just their job. Like that's it. That's They
It's weird to you know kind of realize it's just like, oh, this like Nate shot's like he's like 24 or something, you know, like he's like super young, you know, like these are just normal people that happen to have some of the coolest jobs in the world. That's really cool. It looked like a lot of fun. These guys were sending us pictures like the whole.
Shout out to Tucker Tresca who just subscribed. I don't know if he's
he was with us at World of Beer.
Hey, is he watching or is he just subscribed?
It says I am currently watching, but it says we have 3 people watching.
He might be. He did say so we're in a different Discord together. He said I recognize some of those people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have it going on your phones right now, but apparently we have 2 people watching, so that's really cool.
It's not me.
So shout out to you guys. Type into the chat if you have a question. Actually, we'll talk about it. But yeah, I mean, it looked like a shit ton of fun what you guys were doing. I definitely want to try to make an effort to go to the summer event. I think it would be good for DSoG always to have a presence at all of these events. So if we can make that work, we'll totally be there. And yeah, I mean, I'm super jealous. It looked like a lot of fun, and I'm really jealous. But let's actually get into.
Wait, I do want to make a shameless plug right here. I don't know if you saw the tweets, Brooks.
Oh yeah. You guys, all right. Tell us about the tweet.
We got drunk Saturday night, and I decided to tweet at all of Riot's caster crew what I thought their drink order was, and I'm pretty sure all of it wrong, but that's good because we started talking. And Captain Flowers was like, I think I said I expected him to drink an old fashioned, and he's like, nah, dude, a rum and Coke. And I was like, I thought because old fashioned's my drink. So I was like, I thought we shared the same drink. And he's like, no, I enjoy an old fashioned, but I also enjoyed a good old rum and cum.
Yeah,
because it got autocorrected from Coke
and
to
Freak,
and everybody lost it. Oh man, it was great.
That was bad. I think Freak actually retweeted that. He retweeted that tweet. So he retweeted a tweet that was part of yours.
Yes. So please go make fun of Captain Flowers for drinking rum and cum, and then also praise him for being an amazing caster because he really is great. So that's all.
He's really good.
He really does a great job. Jokes aside, he is one of the most talented casters in the world, probably.
Well, let's actually move on to talk about the games specifically. We probably won't spend a lot of time on this just because it was a pretty quick 3-0 in favor of Team Liquid. I honestly feel like there was something. The stars aligned in a way. I feel like with what has happened recently with Doublelift. I feel like he had to win this, and if he didn't, it just was a shame if he didn't win. But really, it's a monumental thing for all of Team Liquid. They were cursed before. They've been around since literally the very beginning. They're the fourth team to win an NA LCS championship.
But the first post-franchising.
The first post-franchising, and it also just makes complete sense that they were the first post-franchising, or just in general that they're the fourth team to win, because they're an endemic organization. They were one of the few that was able to remain, and they've been around for so long. It was expected that eventually they would win, and they have finally done that. It's just taken 8 seasons for them to get there. But feel really good for Steve. He's great. Everyone says Steve is like the greatest guy in League of Legends. You know,
he really is nice.
After we met Steve, and that was awesome. And then we met up, and then I had to get a Doublelift. I had to get a Liquid jersey. Like, I wanted to just be there, and like everybody was wearing Liquid jerseys, so I was like, you know what? Can't buy 100 Thieves jerseys. So I'm gonna get this.
Yeah, I feel like that was part of why everybody was in Liquid jerseys, because it was like, well, I can't buy 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
But as far as the games, it was. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the third place match just for a second.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's talk about third place first, actually, because that did also happen this past weekend.
I legitimately felt like Clutch had an off day. Like, as much as Echo Fox looked great, and I think with the improvement they made over the week, I think they probably would have won anyway. Clutch looked different than they did all season long and the first 2 weeks of playoffs. So, I'm not saying that Clutch would have won or would have still lost, but they definitely looked off, and I kind of feel bad for him because I love Apollo. He's awesome, and I love Lyra because he kind of revolutionized North American jungling. So,
sorry to interrupt, and this is completely off topic, and you'll probably be mad at me for bringing this up. However, I'm sending you guys a link on Discord. I had to do a double take after seeing this. This is the follow-up to Dark Elementalist. Sneaky.
To what?
Wait, did Sneaky do a cosplay again?
Yes, he did. He did Pizza Delivery Sivir.
Oh no!
Oh really? All right, we're about to
I just
check
sent
this
it
out.
on Discord. I'm gonna.
Oh
send
my,
It.
that's sneaky.
That's Sneaky.
Oh,
Oh,
Yes.
oh. Wow.
are we sure that's Sneaky?
Yes. I saw it on Twitter. I was like, oh, she's really cute. And then I just keep going down my timeline. And then I saw like what other people were saying. And like Dardoch was just like, if I'm keeping it real, like 100. Like
how do you get boobs like that? Like what?
That was partially
stuff
my
raw. Like
all right,
like
we're gonna move on from this. This
We're moving
I'm
on.
just sorry,
This is actually
We're
like
not talking about this on stream. We are moving
pretty
on.
weird, guys. Like,
That is
the
we're
third
back to pure factual analysis of the games.
yeah, the third place match.
Dardoch popped off. He looked amazing.
Yeah.
He rightfully got player of the series. The rest of
I'll agree. It did seem like Clutch was a little bit off on the weekend, especially with how good they looked against 100 Thieves TSM.
yeah.
Which is a shame. But I also would like to kind of throw a little bit of a shout out to their coach, because I don't know if you guys know this, but it's David Lim, who was actually the coach for Liquid last year.
Yeah.
So he's definitely really stepped up his game. I'd like to think so. I mean, I feel like they're probably a team that doesn't really need much of a coach, but it's good to see that he moved teams and is much more successful than he was on Liquid.
Well, I
That's
feel like
good.
Liquid's problem last year was just the constant rotation of players and the lack or too much presence of talent. And like I feel like if DLM had a more consistent team, he might have seen more success last year. I don't know, but I do really like seeing him do well, because I did like the way that he was introduced to Liquid, and I liked his whole mentality about how to coach and how to be a coach, because it's more of a traditional sports approach to coaching, and coming from a traditional sports team, like I really like the way that the teamness was fostered and the way that he goes about it. So
yeah.
I do want to give a shout out to the Clutch guys. Just all the guys on the team. They did a meetup the next day after their loss, and they were all really cool. Like they stopped to talk for us, because like typically you're not supposed to really talk to the players during these meet and greets. Just like take a photo. You just like give them fist bumps, take a photo and stuff. But they like stopped to talk to us about shoes for like 30 seconds, and that was pretty cool. And then they explained to us that like like they all had custom shoes.
oh my god, their shoes were dope.
Their shoes were so slick. They were custom hardens made.
I drink too much water. You guys keep talking. I drank too much water. I gotta go pee.
But yeah, they were custom hardens, made by I guess Adidas or whoever produces the shoes for the team, and they were pretty cool about it. Febby, shout out to you, boy.
This is really
can you
awkward.
get this? Oh shit!
This is like super awkward.
I thought that the microphone was connected to my computer. Well, all right.
Nope.
Boys, just keep it up. Keep going. Keep making noise to where nobody can hear.
Yeah.
It's fine. No one's gonna experience. No one's watching. All right, it's over. It's over.
No, some people watching.
It's me. It's literally me watching.
Okay, we've only got one right now.
All right, I'm not gonna flush the toilet. Just
Anybody watches the
everyone.
VOD, they
All
just get to hear you pee and flush the toilet.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
This is super
I'm just gonna stay over here. I don't need to be seen on the camera anymore.
This is Brooks' last video, guys.
We're gonna act like that never
It's
happened,
me,
right?
Carl.
We're gonna act like
Jared
there's literally two people watching. It's got to be one of you guys. There's no
I'm
way.
the other one.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
No worries. No worries. We're gonna cut that
We're gonna
part
have to
out,
edit that.
out of the video.
Okay.
We're gonna edit that part out. All right.
Those are some bloopers.
Let's keep going. Yeah, we can make a blooper reel at the end of the year.
That would
and
be
that'll
really
be
good.
included. All right. Well,
So
Where-
as for the actual finals match,
oh god,
it was really great.
I gotta wallow in my awkwardness for a hot second.
All
right,
The actual so especially game one was a lot of fun because it was really back and forth. No, excuse me.
Yeah. Are we still talking about Echo
No,
5?
we're talking about we're talking about the last game. So the finals themselves were extremely hype.
Yeah,
we talked
it
earlier.
was more exciting. I mean,
Yes.
obviously you'd expect so because, finals versus third place match, as Darshan put it, it's a loser's match for losers.
Mhm.
And then he played in the third place
And
match
won.
that split and won. But the third place match was fun, but everybody was kind of like, yeah, we're here for the third place match because we want to be at a live event. Not because we actually care too much. And then the finals happened and everybody was so excited. I mean, when the game kicked off, everybody was watching, everybody's hyped up, and then the momentum would shift back and forth. The top half of the map was kind of favored for Liquid, but the top half was kind of favored for 100 Thieves, and then the bot lane was favored for Liquid in that first game, but 100 Thieves was still finding team success versus Liquid that wasn't, and then that Baron steal.
Yeah,
But,
that's
oh my god.
I think that's really, and it's unfortunate that it happened in the first game, but I really do think that was the moment. I think that was the big point in the series where it's just oh, it's over, guys. I almost knew at that moment I was like, shit, it's gonna be a 3-0, dude. This is bad, because in that first game, 100 Thieves. I mean, it was pretty back and forth. It wasn't
it was.
100 Thieves had the advantage, but they weren't in a position where it's oh, these guys are clearly going to win the game. It wasn't like that, but it was still close. 100 Thieves was definitely winning though at that moment in time.
Right.
And then that Baron steal, and I think 100 Thieves after they had lost the second game, they were just tilted.
Yeah, they were. And it kind of sucks because I don't feel like they were 3-0'd because they were that much worse than Liquid. Yeah. I feel like they were 3-0'd because Liquid just took the momentum and ran away with it. And 100 Thieves wasn't able to get it back. They tried a few times, and in game two, it was favored towards Liquid until the four mana zero, where Pobelter got it to push Apollo after he shifted away on Ezreal.
Who was he pushing?
He pushed
Cody's son. You said Apollo.
Cody's son. Did I say Apollo? I'm sorry. I was thinking about other ADCs. So he pushed Cody's son after he shifted away, and it that fight just took away all spark left.
Yeah.
Even though in game three, I had a little bit of hope as a viewer that maybe 100 Thieves wasn't going to get 3-0'd when Someday got that double kill in the top lane, but it didn't translate to the game, and I think that was because everybody was just tilted after game two.
I also think that 100 Thieves. I mean, I'm not an analyst. I'm not Coach Prawley, so take all of this with a grain of salt. But I think that the way they drafted was pretty poor. I think that leaving up Azir for 3 games in a row was a mistake.
It's like the ban Thresh for TSM, right?
They left him up 3 games in a row, and also because for the split, Azir was pick or ban, and I don't know why all of a sudden it was just like, nah, we're just gonna leave him up for 3 games in the finals. You know, like especially after it's been 2 games in a row when Pobelter has slammed you. You know,
So
like
I don't understand why. Because I mean, I can kind of understand why. Because you look at game 1, right? Pobelter picks Azir game 1, and you almost win. Like the only reason why you lost is because of a Baron steal. I mean,
yeah,
that's
fair enough.
kind of
Leave it up a second time. That's
right,
fine.
right. It was the 3rd game where it was like, I think they even hovered Azir for a second, and I was just like, why didn't you just pick it?
Right.
I mean, I know.
Actually, just to clarify this, because you texted me about this when the games
Sunday.
were happening. I was like, 100 Thieves just needs to ban Azir. Like Ryu does not play Azir, and you said, I remember Ken, you were like, he used to play it back in H2K days.
Yeah.
I really went and looked at the stats. He has played Azir 4 times in his entire career.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ryu does not play Azir. Yeah.
Well,
literally
all
never
the
plays it. Which is like, yeah, there's another reason to ban it, because it's just like Ryu doesn't play it. There's not really anything that currently counters it too well.
Yeah,
so just take it out of the meta. Like because
the thing that would counter it would be Rise. I mean, that's kind
that is one of Ryu's really good champions. But I think it was getting banned too.
Yes, Liquid was banning Rise.
Yeah, then he had to default to Talia.
Right, and
wasn't working out too well. Obviously,
yeah.
I mean, it was 3-0. So,
and Ryu plays a pretty good Cassiopeia, who's supposedly the counter to Swain. And I know that both Impact and Pobelter have demonstrated that they play Swain very well. So I can kind of understand why you don't want to give up Swain and have it go to Impact, pick Cassiopeia, and then have to deal with Cassiopeia into a bad matchup in the mid lane. But I don't understand why they couldn't at least try it. You know, like you're already down 2 games. Why don't you try it? I mean, I think it was Zix from CLG had a really good tweet about this where he said all best of 3s outside of Korea are basically game 1, both teams play their strategy that they've prepared. Game 2,
the team that lost
tries to adjust without banning whatever worked for the first game. And then game 3, they finally ban it and probably still lose because they're tilted. But in Korea, they just and in game 2, they ban it and usually come out on top because they just countered the strategy. And so I don't know. For me, that shows what a great coach Zix is. That he actually, I was never one of the ones who's like, oh my god, Zix has to like leave CLG. He's the coaching problem.
Oh no! Anyone that said that,
for people who thought that like it was a coaching problem on CLG,
you were wrong.
Zix is a great coach and will probably maintain great coach status for at least another 2 years.
But I mean, I think to be fair about 100 Thieves, kind of like what we were saying with Clutch, I actually think it may have been a slightly off day for them as well.
Especially after game 1. Like maybe they were good going into it and then like their usual mental fortitude wasn't there.
I also think there may have been some nerves involved with 100 Thieves. Like I know like Cody Sun was in finals and he was at Worlds, last split. Yeah. So maybe he didn't feel any nerves, but yet again, he's still a very young player. Nerves do apply for him. I don't think nerves apply for Meteos or Afromu, but Ryu hasn't been in this position in a long time. It's been a while since Ryu's been in a finals. I don't think
not since Korea.
Yeah, I don't think it's happened since Korea.
Hasn't been it wasn't in the finals.
They won 3rd place every single year that Ryu was there.
Right. And went to the semifinals.
Yeah.
I know people discount it because they beat Annex, but
yeah, they did make it to semis at Worlds.
They still went to the semifinals, and that's something that not a lot of people can say. So.
But I think that nerves may have had a little bit to do with them. So I don't know. They're still my boys. They're still my favorite team, and I think they're still gonna. I have really, really high hopes for the summertime.
They were.
We did talk about this on the way. We did talk about this on the way back to Jackson. I worry for 100 Thieves in that a lot of teams who lose this badly at finals or third place match,
They don't really come back from
they
it.
don't really come back from it. And that is a worry that I have because Meteor specifically was looking
What are you doing?
Sorry.
He was looking tilted as fuck.
Especially after that
during
steal,
that third
because
game.
he felt bad because they showed where it was smited at, smoted, where they smote it, where Smithy smote it. That sounds weird, but I think that's the correct grammar. It was at like 526, right? And I think his smite at the time was at like 800 or like 750. So like that's a good bit below
where you're supposed to.
Like if both junglers are at 750, right, or 760, whatever it equates to, and you get out smited, it's literally a 50-50 of who presses at smite.
It's on D. Excuse you, Ken.
My smite's on F.
You're wrong.
Whoever hits smite first wins, and it's hard to know. It's milliseconds between the two. It's hard to get it right.
To be honest, it was a miracle play from Team Liquid that they got that. It was. It's just it was so unlikely that it was going to happen. It was.
But I feel like. So, 100 Thieves knew Smithy popped the blast cone and had roamed around to the side, and I think they kind of had written off the possibility of a Smithy getting into the Baron pit.
No. I don't know if you noticed, actually, but Afromu was ready to headbutt him out in the event that Smithy tried to get in. What happened was Impact on Singed threw down the goo, the one where you're not allowed to move.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is so...
it prevented Afromu from being able to headbutt Smithy out.
Okay.
It was actually
I didn't even see that.
So okay, that makes sense. Then like if your comms are, between between Afromu and Meteos, Afromu says, "Don't worry, I'll secure making sure that the enemy jungler can't get in," and then the goop.
No one noticed it. It was after I didn't even notice it whenever I watched it. I got on Twitter after that game, and there was like 5 or 6 different people that were pros or used to be pros that were like, everybody talking about Xmidi, stealing the Baron. It was Actually Impact's Singed goo that won them that Baron, basically. And I was like, holy shit!
I didn't know, because you don't know what comms are, but like you can anticipate where Afromu says, no, Meteos, don't worry about smiting it. Smite it when you think I'll make sure you're the only person smiting.
Yeah,
and then he doesn't. That will throw Meteos off.
Yeah,
and that'll tilt him. I mean, so okay, wow. Okay, a little bit.
It's crazy.
A little bit less. A little bit more tempered idea on. I mean, great for Smithy for taking it. I still think Meteos should have smited earlier because there is such a large HP discrepancy between when his smite could have gone off and when it did. But wow, that is impressive. The goop.
And also another thing, not to go back to the drafting problems, because yet again, we don't know how drafting works with these teams, but Zach was not banned or picked in any of the games. Weird. And Meteos is the Zach player in the league.
When you think about Meteos, you think Elise and Zach. Like that's.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It didn't make any sense. I literally was sitting there watching. I was like, why are they not picking these champions, or why are they not banning these champions? That didn't make any sense. Well,
Zyra Khan was absent the whole time too.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
Cody's son had Ezreal in the second game.
Didn't make any sense.
Not to say that Ezreal's a bad champion, but like,
it's not a Cody.
He doesn't do anything. Like,
it's not a Cody son champion.
No, definitely not.
Like when I think of Ezreal, I think of Smooth. I think of Sneaky, Arrow. Those are the kind of ADCs that I think of can make use of Ezreal. I don't think of the 2 ADCs in this match. I don't think of Double Lift, and I don't think of Cody's son. I'm like, those those two ADCs need to be on Caitlyn or Vayne or
Super
Xayah.
hyper carries.
Yeah, I mean, like, put them on something that they can carry the whole game on. And
Yeah.
they're pretty evenly matched, in my opinion, when it comes to hyper carries. I think they're both very proficient on pushing a game by themselves.
Yeah.
So it was a great match. It was
Yeah.
really, really a lot of fun. Kind of feel bad for him. It feels bad. 100 Thieves.
Well, let's actually move on though. And actually, before we talk about MSI, how about we just like talk about how we felt this split went as a whole for North America.
Okay, I'll go first. I thought the split went really well. I think that franchising brought a lot of things to NA LCS that we would not have seen had it not happened. For example, what Team Liquid last split or the season before split before they were what 10th place.
Yeah, they were awful. Yeah, they were literally the worst team.
I think if we had franchising, I don't think they would have made playoffs, or they might have been relegated, right? So,
really, you don't think that Liquid would have had that? Because I think Liquid would have had the money. I think the real victory of franchising is Clutch.
Here's actually a question, not to deviate, and we don't have to go too deeply into this. Actually, it is kind of a deep question, but Team Liquid, I mean, paid by Steve. It's a meme, but like this team was bought. This team, there's a lot of money.
There's a lot of money on this team
making this team work. So, kind of my question is like, can you just win based on how much money you put in? I feel like that's a question we got to ask, at least with this split, with how much money came in.
So I'll say no, but this goes back to kind of Carl's point of like franchising. I don't think franchising had an impact on Team Liquid at all.
But
I think
it's like, would investors?
What?
But you think Team Liquid would have had the money had franchising not happened?
Yeah, they already had signed Disney. They already had the money. Like, they were one of the few teams that had the money because people just kind of already thought they were going to be great. Plus, Team Liquid as an organization, I mean, they won TI, so like they had plenty of ability to get sponsors. Yeah.
Okay.
Them and C9, I think, were the most solid across esports at bringing in money. Them and Optic, but Optic was before the split an entirely different organization. I think the victory of franchising, of what can be accomplished, is 100 Thieves and Clutch, the two new orgs that made it, because Clutch essentially takes a team like Envy with what a lot of people thought was a B-list bot lane. Mm-hmm. I don't say that. I'm not going to say that they're a B-list. I think they're an A-list bot lane. I think they're great.
Yeah.
But a lot of people thought they were a B-list bot lane. They had Lyra, who a lot of people thought was really great a jungler, but like still there were some questions about. And then they had the other two slots, the mid and top lane, that people weren't really taking a gamble on with that team. But because Clutch was able to secure the roster they were, because they were able to kind of market like, hey, we've always got a spot, right? Between the Rockets and always having a spot in League, they know they can invest a little bit more money and they can bring in the Feb event, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the victory of franchising is that they can bring in the better talent to put a more wholesome roster together. Similarly with 100 Thieves is that, you know, you're this new organization and you can still buy these great players and put them together and work on, you know, better synergies with higher cost talent, because your slot's not going away. You can basically say, you know, I don't know how Nate Shot did it and the rest of his team, but you can basically pitch to investors, hey, I need X amount of money to secure this player. And you know that there's a certain less amount of risk moving forward because we always have this team.
Yeah. Apparently Nate Shot heard that there was franchising and literally just like went to the Cavaliers and was like, hey, there's this thing going on. I want to be a part of it, and I want you to too. You just got to give me money to make it happen.
You just
It
gotta
is
give me
crazy, dude. Like,
$30 million, and I can make all your
does
dreams
that
come true.
happen? Like, but yeah. Well, let's keep going on about like the success of the split. Do we think that? I know this is kind of an age-old question, has been a question since they made the decision to move back to best of ones. But do we think that the best of one change affected anything?
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
So too. Yeah.
Yes.
Standings more than anything. I still
Do you think that
Liquid
teams were prepared for playoffs?
Yes.
Think that they were ready for it?
I think the only thing that best of threes would have been different is the volatility that we saw and how close the standings were. I think would it not have been there, right? If you had best of threes, it would have been a much more stable league. The same teams might have gotten in, except for maybe CLG. CLG might have gotten in over someone else.
Yeah.
But how close it was and having those tiebreakers that we had, that was because of best of ones.
Yeah. I think to answer your question, were teams prepared? Yes. I don't think a best of three format actually prepares a team more, because that's more of a coaching thing, and coaches are getting better and better every year. And I think our coaching in North America, while it's not great, it's
better.
It's better, and the coaches are now looking more at preparing week to week rather than game to game, if not, or even at all. They're looking more about how their team matches up with other teams, and that is something that doesn't happen. It's not just a best of one versus best of five versus best of three issue. It's more of like, if you have a good coach who can prepare you for a best of one, he can also, or she can, not to say that we shouldn't have female coaches. Maybe we will. That they can't put together a great strategy for game 1 through 5 just as much as they can just for game 1.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was a problem. I had really big issues with it going into the split, but my issues are kind of gone. I've changed my mind.
I think I still have the same issues. It's just not as like, I just don't care as much anymore, if that makes sense. I've kind of accepted the fact that this is the way it's going to be, and it's probably not going to change back to best of threes. So it's just kind of like, well, no reason, complaining about it anymore.
When you think about it, like they still practice for the same amount of time. The only thing they're missing out on is, quote, practice on game day, unquote. And I feel like the lack of time on stage on game day is made up for more recreational time for the players.
Yes.
And I feel like that's a good trade-off.
I
agree too.
So,
and
I
think this goes back to what I was saying earlier. I'm glad that we have this kind of instability in the standings, because it made those tiebreakers happen, and that was so much fun to watch.
It was fun. Yeah.
And also, like, Worlds has best of ones. You gotta be able to perform well in best of ones at the highest stage. So why not have that be part of the regular season?
Yeah. All right. Well, any other thoughts on the split as a whole? I feel like
franchise is ready for MSI.
I think.
That was what we were going to talk about next. We were going to talk about MSI. So far, Fnatic and EU, Team Liquid. I think the Brazilian team is confirmed. The Vietnamese team is confirmed. The team in Oceania is confirmed. I think the only ones we have left are
China and EU, right?
There's probably some other small regions, probably like Turkey, and then the Russian team, whoever that is. But Taiwan, I guess. Taiwan's a major region, that's important. I don't know if they.
If you won a world championship, I'm pretty sure you're considered a major region.
No, they definitely are. They don't have to play the play-ins, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, the ones left are China, which, as far as my knowledge of China goes, I don't watch very many. I watched some in the very, very beginning of the split, but as far as I know, the teams that are likely to win are going to be RNG, EDG, or Invictus Gaming, which I think is the favorite as of right now. Apparently, they lost like one game through the entire split.
That's insane.
And then in Korea, it's either going to be Africa or it will be King Zone. King Zone Dragon X, baby. That is their full name. Longzhu Gaming was better, but King Zone Dragon X, whatever. So yeah, how do we think that Team Liquid will do on the international stage?
I hope they make it out of groups.
I mean, Smithy said they're gonna win, so like.
Yeah, SKT can't do it, so his kryptonite's not there, so they have to win.
Yeah, he did say that. He's like, SKT's not there, so I'm gonna win.
No,
Also,
but
a really cool fact is that Doublelift's never been to MSI.
Doublelift's never been to MSI. Impact's never been to MSI.
Hey, they have never lost an MSI.
Always never been to MSI.
Xmithy's the only one.
Xmithy's
the only one. And SKT is not there. So
and he's only lost to SKT. So I think, to be honest though, I think they've got a pretty good shot. They are all incredible talents. Their coach has never lost a best of 5. Think about that.
What teams did he coach before?
They were challenger teams.
Oh, this is his first LCS team.
Yeah, this is his first LCS team.
A Korean guy, really? This is his first time coaching? He coached in NA for the first time?
No. Yeah, I think so.
Wait.
The casters talk about this all the time.
About
how he's like everybody was worried, how does Kane match up to Prolly and all these other
coaches
in the LCS who have LCS experience. And they're like, well, he's never lost a best of 5, but they were all in challenger, so we don't know. And then he just kept winning. So hopefully, first he wins challenger, then he wins LCS, and now he's gonna go on and win MSI, and then he wins Worlds, and then he doesn't suck anymore.
Kane used to be a support player. He played for Najin. Yeah, he played for Najin Black Sword.
Way back when.
That
was like 20.
But then who did he coach for?
He's only coached for Cloud9.
Oh, CNXT.
Cloud9. And he was a coach for CJ Entis also.
Oh.
Okay.
But yeah.
Interesting.
So anyway.
But how do we think? Well, let's look specifically, because I think like one of the big matchups that people want to make sure is that NA can beat EU.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the.
Did you guys watch the EU finals? I did.
Yes. We watched it in line, like while we were waiting to get in. We were watching it.
Fnatic. If you didn't watch, Reckless got 2 pentakills in 2 separate.
One of them was an unofficial pentakill. He got the 4th kill 11 seconds, not 10 seconds before.
I mean, Reckless is
a beast. But I think that's what's important to take away from this is that a lot of the players were saying that Reckless wasn't carrying the team. Mm-hmm. He was getting the kills because he's the AD carry, right? But the team was giving him the kills, not.
Perks actually had a really long interview about this.
I don't want to discredit Reckless by saying this. Like, that dude's amazing, and he deserves all the credit. And what I'm saying is this is how strong Fnatic is right now, right? They're literally able to give Reckless a pentakill. Mm-hmm. They stop their abilities to give Reckless a pentakill.
Right.
And that's how dominant they are.
I think when you go down like matchup by matchup, I think that like if it's SOAS playing, because actually we don't know, because he did. It could be Bleepo. But if it's SOAS playing, SOAS versus Impact, I actually think is equal. I think that's a equal matchup.
SOAS was streaming, and he was playing with one hand, and he was owning challenger top laners in a year.
Of course he
with
was.
one hand.
Soaz is.
So
He was actually from a different planet.
Yeah.
I'm convinced he was dropped here to play League of Legends until he turned 70 years old, and then they're going to come pick him up and they're going to take him home. So I think as an Impact, I think that's an even matchup. I think that Xmithy beats out Broxa slightly.
Really?
I think Xmithy beats Broxa.
I think it depends on the meta. Because we don't know what the meta is going to be going into MSI because they're playing on 8-7.
I don't know. I think
MSI.
I think
which
that
means
if
they're gonna have.
I think if you're trying to say that like Broxa plays aggressive junglers better, I disagree. I think Smithy can literally play any jungle style. Like I think he is the most versatile jungler in the West.
Well, I think the difference though is that I think that Liquid may rely on Xmithy on like tanky junglers so that he can engage for them, whereas I don't think that Fnatic necessarily relies too heavily on Broxa to do the engaging. Does that make sense? So if you get the aggressive jungle meta, I think maybe Broxa has a slight advantage, but not crazy.
Well, I think Fnatic as a team has that advantage.
Yeah, I think Caps is better.
They might be playing the same champions, but differently. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I go back and forth on this because I think that's a meta thing for Caps versus Pobelter. I think overall Caps is better, but with the meta that was seen in NA, the kind of control playmaker.
Pobelter's the best at that. Yeah.
Pobelter, nobody's better than Pobelter. I mean, he's world class when it comes to not carrying. I know that sounds really bad, but like I actually do that a big point of like praise of like when it comes to enabling his team and being that catalyst. I mean, there's nobody better than Pobelter except maybe Faker.
The thing is, LPL and LCK are on 8-6 right now.
Yeah.
So they're a patch ahead, and a lot of them are playing through their mids.
Okay.
Like they're having their mids carry. Like Kuro played Yasuo.
Yeah, I was about to say it's Kuro and BDD in Korea. You know, like obviously they're gonna play through them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's also
what. But if that's what
meta versus.
But if that's what the meta is at MSI is playing through your mid,
Fnatic's probably gonna beat.
Yeah, but then there's also meta versus style. You know?
Yeah.
Like, is it worth playing the meta, or is there also a viable style? I mean, last year, Longzhu was able to play through Khan when no one else was playing carry top.
And that's their style. But like that's not. It's not just one team that's doing that, right? A lot of the teams are playing through their bottom or to their mid lane.
Right, and I'm saying that there was only one team not doing the meta. In the same situation, there will also be one team not doing it. And is that going to be viable or not is the question. I don't know. Probably not, just because of how dominant Korea and China look, but I'm not saying that it's definitely true.
And then I think as far as the bottom lanes are concerned, I think pretty even. Maybe Fnatic favorites just a little bit.
I don't know about Ole versus Hilly. I give a slight advantage to Reckless over Doublelift. I don't know about Ole versus Hilly. I think mechanically Ole's better, but I think Hilly's a little more decisive. Yeah. So I'm not sure which one comes out on top. So.
Yeah, but I think as far as MSI is concerned, I think it's fair to say that the Korean team's probably going to win. But it is interesting to note that there's only been, correct me if I'm wrong, there's been 2 MSIs. There was 2016 and 2017.
3.
2015. Okay, 2.
EDG, SKT.
Oh yeah, you're right. EDG won the first one. Okay. Well, at least for the past 2, a Western team has made it to the finals, which is super cool to think about.
Agreed.
So, I mean, even though CLG got completely slammed in the finals, they were there, man. And they had some actually fantastic games against RNG. Where where they beat Mata and they beat Looper, and everybody was like, "Holy shit, holy shit!" You know, like
I mean,
I was
it'd be
excited.
cool. I think this team of Team Liquid is probably the best team to send because they won't get daunted by the competition. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like last year TSM went and they felt like, oh, how are we going to beat a Korean team?
TSM is cursed on the international level.
Right,
I'm
that's true.
convinced.
And I feel like to some degree, CLG 2 years ago was also like, how are we going to possibly beat a Korean team? And I feel like these guys have so much international experience, or they're double lift and they don't give a fuck. And so they're just not going to treat the Korean and Chinese teams as any different than they will any other level of competition. They're just like, this is our competitor. We have to beat them. How do we do it? And that is going to be their biggest strength going into MSI.
Yeah.
Not that it's actually going to make a difference whether they win or lose. It's just that is the type of mentality you need to approach an event like this. Not the, oh my God, it's Korea, which is kind of the vibe I've gotten from North America before. This Team Liquid team is not going to be like, oh my God, it's Korea.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they could do well. I think that if they get to semifinals, I would be pleased.
Awesome.
With Team Liquid making semifinals. If
Yeah,
they made it to finals, I'd be like, we already won. You know, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter now. We already accomplished something. I'd be pretty happy with that. So,
that was kind of how it was with CLG. It was just like, well, no one thought we were gonna make it, so
yeah,
America.
Yeah, here we are. You know, I hope they get some American flag jerseys too, because holy shit, that'd be badass. I don't know if they do that though, because like when CLG went, all of the players were NA. You know, they were all American, I think. So
he wasn't.
Yeah, but he lived in France, or he lived in Canada, so it wasn't as big of like a jump. You know what I mean? He was a Canadian resident, so it wasn't like horribly. I don't know if Impact and Ole would be okay with having an American flag on their jersey, is what I'm saying, but I don't know. I hope they would be.
Yes.
Pay him enough money, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't have to have an American flag.
Impact's making a lot of money.
It just has to be red, white, and blue and have some kind of stripes on it and stars.
For sure.
Exactly.
We got anything else to add? We've gone for about an hour now.
No, I think we're at it.
I think we're good. We don't have any predictions to make this weekend, guys.
Not yet. Next week.
My prediction is that Team Liquid is going to 3-0 Kingzone Dragon X in the finals.
All right. That's
actually,
enough.
I'm kind of curious. It's MSI, I feel like it's in 3 weeks or like a month, right?
It's in like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Because LPL is still playing playoffs until the 28th of April, so we got a while. So we're always waiting on those boys. They're always taking their sweet ass time over there. But they do take a break for Chinese New Year, which I actually feel like is probably a good idea. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and call this one. Good stream. Thank you for tuning in.
May 3rd is the start of MSI.
May 3rd.
Is that groups?
Yes.
Mark your calendars. Is that the play-ins?
Yeah, that's the plans.
Okay, that's plans. All right. Vietnam is now an independent region, I think. I think they're a major region, so I don't know if they have to play through play-ins.
I don't remember, but
I don't know. There's some new thing to where NA does not have to play in play-ins anymore.
Yes.
It's because Vietnam became its own region, I think. They're separated from Southeast Asia. Yeah, we're going to call this one right here. Thank you for tuning in if you did. Thank you for watching. And yeah, that's it. We're going to share this on Twitter. Hit that like button, subscribe, ask questions in the comments. We'll talk about them. Share this with your friends. Dirty South Revolution. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. And we're going to call it right there. Bye. Guys.